Today we're going to dig into one of my favorite topics, which is marketing vehicles. Now, some of you are like, what the heck are you talking about, Carina? But here is the deal. I wrote a book basically giving people references to marketing vehicles. I just didn't use that language because most people are scared of the word marketing and they don't understand it. And I'm going to break it down super simple, super easy for you today. Okay. So here's the deal. Most people are worried about sales because they only understand or experience sales usually from, terrible aspects of the sales experience. Like, for example, when I get a call on my phone for a business loan, which I don't want or don't need, and someone has, put me on like a cycle for my phone number. And so they've called me and it's clearly someone from a call center and I don't want to talk to them, right? That's what we think of when we think of sales. That by itself is just a vehicle, right? That's just a vehicle for sales. Picking up the phone and calling someone is a vehicle for sales. And we're used to it in a way that kind of feels crummy and icky. So we associate that with sales, right? Same with the used car salesman, right? When we think about that, the kind of the oily, yucky feeling of sales, and we go into a parking lot and we have to buy something. I'm thinking of Matilda, right? Like the old Matilda movie, or if you read the books, where the dad is gluing together parts of the car and it's going to fall apart later, right? That's what we think of, you're getting this awful thing, which is so funny because most of our lives is actually sales, right? I have a girlfriend who sells makeup, and I ordered some makeup from her because I needed some new makeup, right? It wasn't weird or odd. It was just, I just needed some new makeup, right? Or I had a girlfriend who told me about this particular thing for buying clothing. And I was like, oh my gosh, will you give me the link to that? She was essentially selling me on this particular service for buying clothing. I needed it. I wanted it. I'm like, tell me about that. Let me order from them, right? So a lot of times sales is actually really positive experience, but we're not used to looking at seeing our friends telling us something that they like or whatever because we trust them. So it doesn't feel like sales, right? So in design, and I talk about this extensively, and I can't think what chapters it is in my book, Design, Profit, and Prosper. I want to say chapter 9 is sales magic. So if you have the book, go reread that section, okay? Because here is the thing. As designers, we're just looking for a marketing vehicle, a sales vehicle, some place to put our designs so that it will sell for us. Now, the one that everybody sees most often is a fabric manufacturer. That is a sales vehicle. We don't actually do the selling. We market basically to our manufacturer and say, will you print our beautiful designs? You guys know you are selling to the fabric manufacturer, right? So you're selling to the fabric manufacturer. You're selling them on the fact that your designs are different, cool enough, more awesome, and that they need to print them because they're going to make money off of you. That's what you're doing. That's what you should be doing. And if you haven't been thinking about it like that, then let's shift to that thinking, okay? Because that's the way you should be thinking about it. You should be thinking about, if you're trying to get a manufacturer to contract you, why in the heck are they going to choose you over anyone else? And you've got to make a great argument for it, okay? So that is a marketing vehicle, getting your stuff in stores. So for example, if you wanted to get a manufacturing deal with someone who is doing tumblers or whatever kind of cup there is out there right now, okay? And you wanted your designs to be on them, then you would contact that manufacturer and they would be your sales vehicle to get your designs out there in the world. Okay, you guys see where I'm going with this? This is why I love, for designers, more than anything, online shops. Online shops are a marketing vehicle, a sales vehicle, because at the end of the day, they do the exact same thing. You basically want something, whether it's a manufacturer, whether it's an online shop, whether it's something else out there for you, maybe it's just like a person or a company. What you're doing is basically exactly the same thing. You're creating a place where your stuff can then be consumed. That's all there is to it, okay? And people like kind of get a little confused when I talk about this, but it really is that simple. If you go on a shop, like let's pretend you were going to put your designs or you're going to put your product on Amazon, okay? You are now making it available to their entire audience to be consumed. Same as you've got a fabric manufacturer contract. You are making it available to the fabric manufacturer so they can then send it on to the consumer so that it can be consumed. That's all there is to it. And so very often if people think very logically about the steps between them and getting their designs out there, if they start thinking about it really logically and instead of like being like, I'm just seeing that so-and-so is on Instagram and they are posting about this. If you spend more time thinking about it from a company or business standpoint, I promise you will be thinking stronger, smarter, and actually building a company. You know, I am actually going, this is being recorded a little early, to an influencer conference. They sent me a free ticket. I don't know why. I think because they saw the number of followers I had on Instagram, which in my opinion isn't that many. And they said, would you come to this? And I was like, sure, but it's because I'm going because I need a couple of influencers for things. So I'm looking at it from a company standpoint. I think so many people are really caught up in building audience without actually thinking about sales and marketing vehicle. Sales and marketing vehicle should be driving your design business, but most people are thinking about audience and how audience should be driving their design business. It is so messed up. It is so turned around. And I am here to tell you, if you can find good marketing vehicles where people can then consume your designs, you are going to be in much better shape, okay? Get the book if you want to read a little bit more straightforward. My straightforward language in the book is much better than me kind of talking about this company-wise. I always think it's interesting when people who don't really know what my company does will say, oh, so are you an influencer? I'm like, no, I am not. We do not have the numbers to be an influencer, nor do we care to get the numbers. Now, the numbers are there literally to build an audience, right? We care about building marketing and sales vehicles so that our company makes money, so that we can pay all of our team members and all of that good stuff, okay? Bring great content to you, bring great content to our designers and our design programs. That's what we're trying to do and accomplish. The building the audience piece over here, or this influencer piece, it's just bonus. It's just extra. It's happening on its own as we are helping one-on-one individuals get to their goals. That's what I'm doing. We're building a big old company that will help people, individuals, become designers that make money. That's what I'm interested in. And so if that becomes your goal, maybe not that particular thing, but like maybe if your goal is you just simply want to be a money-making designer, a designer who makes XXX, whatever it is, or a designer who feels extremely fulfilled because people buy their artwork, or a designer who is on multiple different ways on the internet and with manufacturers, and it's just pleasing you so much to create this artwork and you're seeing it in stores, okay? Whatever the goal is, it doesn't matter what the goal is, okay? Like you can write down what your goal is. What matters is how do we get this in front of people? How do we get this in front of people who will buy, okay? And that is through like one of these platforms, one of these marketing or sales vehicles so people can consume it. Social media is very difficult. You can technically consume from there, but it's just not exactly the same because you're working from your own audience versus working from all of these different sales or marketing vehicles audiences, okay? Hopefully that made sense. For some of you, you should have had a light bulb moment because that's good stuff right there. And I wish somebody several years ago had said that to me because I probably would have had a much bigger design business much faster if I had followed my own advice that I know now. But 2020 is hindsight, and very often the things that I've experienced, you're going to experience in your own way. It's going to feel different to you. You're going to have more trouble with this market and better luck with this market. And that's just because the markets are ever evolving. That's part of the reason we have our design program, because what I'm telling my designers now is very different than what I was telling them a year ago. It's just because we've seen evolving markets. And so that's one of the reasons I love teaching designers in the here and now, because I want to get them where they need to go as quickly as possible. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you're interested in more of this kind of talk, or if you like my trainings, come join me in a design bootcamp. If you go to carinagardnercourses.com/design bootcamp, yeah, I think that's what it is, then you can sign up and join me in a 5-day training, and I would love to teach you more about design. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.